Good morning, friends, followers and channel members. Oh, it's great to be back in the simulator after what seems like forever since we were last here to do a flight. Just had a little issue with the internet there right at the very start, which was a little bit annoying. Hopefully that's now all being fixed and sorted, so we can crack on. Just setting one or two small things up as I do this. So 9,000 subscribers. Wow, that's insane. Really a huge thank you to each and every one of you for that. So yeah, we're still in the Easyjetsimpilot special Easter livery as made by Christian here in the chat. Good morning to all the channel members: Dave, Christian, Fitzy. Who else we got? Captain B as well, and good to see you all. So yeah, I have no idea where this aircraft parked. It looks like it's been in looks like it's been in maintenance. It's parked at the maintenance hangar. It doesn't look like a normal terminal, so I'm not sure quite what's happening just there. But never mind. We'll get you all on board, and we shall get flying down to Nice today. Can you guys hear the wind as well? Can you? I don't know if you can hear the wind. We just Captain Reese UK, welcome sir, welcome to the Captain's Club. Free alcohol on board for you this flight. Thank you very much sir for your kind support. Great to have you on board. Look forward to flying you obviously today and many more flights in the future. So big thank you. You're very kind. Do appreciate you becoming a channel member. Look forward to chatting with you more. I'm just going to turn up the audio a little bit just of the simulator and I'll shut up for a second. Just listen to the wind. Can you guys hear that? So it's a little bit blustery today in Basel. Let's get on board. Oh, that's better. It's nowhere near as windy inside the flight deck, thank goodness. So yeah, I've not been in the simulator for a while. Not since about Thursday, which is probably the longest I've had from away from this for months now. So let's hope we can remember what it is we need to do. Captain Reese UK, drop me a PM in the Discord server if you would, and I'll make sure we get you set up in the VIP room. Okay, that should happen automatically, but occasionally I just sometimes have to kick the bot because he doesn't do his job properly. Right, yeah, so I thought we should be parked over there at the terminal. That looks like a much more friendly place, but it looks like my aircraft has been in for maintenance the last few days. Never mind, that's fine. And just got to check as well which version of the aircraft I'm flying. I don't know if I'm flying the custom autopilot. I don't think I am. I was doing a PR test, so I think we're actually on a PR version, but never mind. It's fine. The aircraft works exactly as it should. That's the main thing. Christian, you can open the window and it sounds exactly like this. Fair enough. Let's get some power on, shall we? And let's call the ground power unit and external power. Have we got an external power truck coming over? There's a refueling truck. I don't know if there's a ground power unit even going to come to us all the way out here in this maintenance hangar. No, it looks like I think it's still working anyway. Yeah, we've got the green lights. Let's get it hooked up. There we go. So that's fine. And then we'll start getting some passengers on board as well. I don't think we've got any baggage handlers here, so hand luggage only today, guys. What about catering? You need catering. Nope. Just looks like looks like we're on our own. They're all busy over there at the main terminal. Understandably so, I guess. Brakes are hot. So clearly they've been doing something to the aircraft. Let's get that. Let's get the fans on. How warm is that? 690 degrees Celsius. What have they been doing? Oh well, never mind. Is this a new version of the 320NX? Do you know what? Having now just got into the flight deck, I'm not actually sure which version it is. I've just noticed I've not got the decal plate or the cups, so I think I'm on a PR test because I forgot to change it over, but never mind. I can sort that out. Either way, it's it'll fly beautifully. It's fly-by-wire, of course it'll fly beautifully. Right, let's have a look at the. Let's just turn that master caution off. Oh, we can't turn that off. It's just telling us we need to cool the brakes down. So, let's have a look at the weather, which first of all means I've got to pop in our username. And Christian, am I stood in a lava pit? Yeah, I could be, looking at those brake temperatures. Easyjetsimpilot, there we go. Pop that in, dashboard, pull that in from SimBrief. Hopefully that shall load in a second. Oh, that's interesting. Why is that not pulling the information in? Oh, because I spelt it wrong. That'll be why. Let's try again, shall we? Tell you, the aircraft's never wrong, only the pilot. Easyjetsimpilot, let's try again. Dashboard, pull the information in from SimBrief. There we go. Fantastic. Right, so the weather today, yeah, as you can see, look at that weather for here in Basel. We've got variable wind 270 at 8, varying 240, 320. Sailing and visibility is fine, QNH 1013, but it's currently temporarily gusting up to 30 knots, so we need to be aware of that when departing, of course. Lucas, it's 6:30 AM where you are in Canada, getting ready for work. Oh, it's Bank Holiday Monday here in the UK, following the Easter weekend. So probably a few of you not working today, which is quite nice. Christian, don't worry about it. I know what I've done. I've basically got a. I'm just checking now the community folder. What have I got? Oh no, I thought I had got the. I have got my own I have got the custom experimental version in. I've just opened the community folder and check. I'm not going to play around with editing there while the simulator's running. I've obviously just not updated the decals and the coffee cups. That's fine. We're okay. So yeah, gusting here. What we've got in Nice. Nice looks quite nice. Few clouds, 3,000 feet. Becoming a little windy, but nothing we can't handle. It's going to be a crosswind landing either way. Looking at that and the direction of the runways in Nice. I think we're plan 04 left at the moment. So anyway, let's continue. What I do want to do is we'll get the nav lights on, let people on the ground know we're here in the aircraft and we are working. I want to get the fuel sorted. So let's have a look at the fuel, shall we? Baggy Simi on Twitch, thanks so much for this follow, my friend. Good to have you on board. So let's have a look. Operational flight plan. Performance factor is -10. That's for the fuel, so that's fine. So we're looking to take 4.7 tons of fuel with us. The weather's good, so we shouldn't really need any extra. So 4.7 tons. Let's go to the fuel. Let's type that in. Obviously, the simulator loads with far too much fuel, I think. No aircraft would have 9.5 tons already. And what did we want? 4.7. 4720, I think it was, wasn't it? 4720, and a realistic time 7 minutes. Let's get that defueled. Okay, so whilst defueling is now taking place, that's fine. Let's just check everything else, a bit more cockpit prep, and then we shall start to get passengers on board. Mr. Otter as well on Twitch, thank you so much, sir, for the follow. Come on board and take a seat. Okay, overhead panel is fine. Let's do the engine checks. Fire engine 1, fire engine 2, and of course the APU. all is good down there. Flight Van on Twitch as well, thank you very much sir for the follow. So at the moment brake fans are on and skid is on, and the weather the time is correct as well. Let's just turn up the standby instrument 1013, the current QNH. That's stable standard pressure, so that's going to be nice and easy for us to remember today, isn't it? Just come down to the pedestal, all is looking good and fine here. Let's just get VHF2 set to the guard frequency 121.5, and after that we shall just arm on VHF1 Unicom 122.8. We are on VATSIM. I don't know if we've got any air traffic controllers around us at the moment. Let's have a look. No, there's no air traffic control online, so it will be over to Unicom in a little while. Alec Menk on Twitter as well, sir. Thank you very much for the follow. Get yourself on board. This McDo screen needs a clean, doesn't it? Look at all the greasy finger marks on that. Alright, so all is looking good there. Let's come up to our glare shield and turn on the lights. That's not the glare shield actually, this is the primary flight displays, but we'll work our way across. 1013 and flight directors 1 and 2 coming on, and our departure today is the Morrock 7 November. And our initial climb altitude clearance is 7,000 feet. So let's get that in the FCU. 7,000. I'll just confirm that as well. All right. So that's all. That's all good. Funnily enough, we can't put chocks on yet. I'm just reading the ECAM warning. Parking brake prefer chocks if possible. Remove the parking brakes. So the aircraft shouldn't go anywhere with no engine power. So if we could have chocks, just try and cool these down. In fact, those brake fans are doing a really good job. They're now at 380 degrees, so that's slowed down quite neatly. If we just release the parking brakes and have chocks, maybe that will also aid in the cooling down of the brakes. So that's good. So saturated, do I have a checklist? Yes, I do. I use a one that I've been given in the real world, although there is a very realistic one as well on our Discord server in the pilot's briefing room, if anyone wants to go ahead and grab that. It's really good, really useful, and I can vouch for the realism of it as well. Okay, so glare shields all set up, and instruments, let's get the first officer's displays turned off, save those frame rates for now. Okay, should we start getting some passengers on board then? So let's start the flight. Our passengers are going to have to jump on the aircraft again though, just as there's no stairs or anything over here. I tell you, I didn't think I was parked in the maintenance area, but we appear to be. Does mean we've got a nice short taxi though to the runway 33 for departure. So that's it.
Refueling is underway and the bags are starting to get loaded, so let's open the doors and allow our passengers on board. Thank you.
So that's a little bit of a time saver with the taxi. Okay, so main door is now open. Passengers are getting on board. Come in, take your seats, get yourself sat down and comfortable. Right, down to the McDo. Let's just turn that on. To the ATSU AOC menu, let's pull our information from SimBrief, init data request, there we go. There we go, Basel to Nice, and we've got 1 hour 5 minutes trip time, and current fuel on board is decreasing as we are defueling. And then let's go to our performance, weights and balance. Don't need to touch the fuel page, that's all taken care of. So the payload of the passengers, 168 passengers and a payload of 17472. Let's check that on here. 17472, that is correct. A zero fuel weight of 58.5, and the zero fuel weight center of gravity, we just need to change that so it matches the aircraft, which is 26.9 by default here in the sim. 26.9. There we go, so that just loads the baggage out to match up the zero fuel weight center of gravity. Pekla Alsen, I'm so sorry if that's a very poor pronunciation of your name, but welcome to the First Officers Club, my friend. Thank you very, very much for your support. That's really kind, and I look forward to doing many, many more flights with you, such as this in the future. And of course, this flight today, so come on board, and of course, grab yourself a free complimentary drink on the way on. Okay, so our payload for the passengers is now all keyed in. Let's go to the data page and check. We've got IRS, we've got 3 nav green, that's fine. Aircraft status, correct engines showing, and up-to-date valid AIRAC cycle as well. Great stuff. So onto the Init A page. Let's pull this in from SimBrief. Good morning, yep, good to see you. There we go. Right, our flight number today. Oh, Lord, this could go so wrong if air traffic control does come online. However, this flight is actually an Easyjet Swiss flight. I have never done one of these Easyjet Swiss flights. So the call sign today is Top Swiss 693 Victor. Cost index of 8, flight level 290, and what's that outside air temperature? Minus 42, actually that's pretty spot on, I'm happy to leave that for the sim. And Tropo 37290, 376, do you know what, they're actually probably the closest I've seen them. I've seen the cruise temperature to be 100% accurate in the past, but just off by 2 degrees, that's not going to make any difference. To that, so I'm happy to leave that. Right, so that's all right. The alternate, check that's correct. Lima Fox Mike Lima, Lima Fox Mike Lima. Yes, it is. Good stuff. All right, now let's come down our flight plan. So let's have a look. It's departure from runway 33. And it is the Morocco 7 November departure. Let's scroll down and find that. Morocco 7 November departure. That's entered and insert. And then our arrival is the Vevar 7 Romeo to runway 04 left. Vevar 7 Romeo to 04 left, and let's key this in. So the ILS 4 left, and the Vevar 7 Romeo will be down at the bottom, alphabetical order. There we go, Vevar 7 Romeo. Now the VIA, is it via Amgel or Tipik? Let's have a look. Oh, where's the route gone? That's annoying. The route seems to have disappeared from SimBrief. I think it'll be from Amgel, which is just there, as you can see. We'll bring the chart up, that might help. Oh yeah, there we go. Via Amgel. Just here. So let's pop that in via Amgel, which is the one set by default, and insert. Now that's inserted, just check the flight plan. It's 344 miles. We've got 387 miles. So let's now just have a quick look on the navigation window. If we turn that to plan mode, just zoom out a little bit. So there's our departure over the Bravo November NDB, and if we just scroll through our flight plan, we can see it takes us down, and yeah, that's actually what I expected to see. That's fine. That looks to be coded in quite nicely and matches up. I think if I just bring Navigraph back into the picture, you can see how that works. So that's actually bringing from Amgel straight down to there it is, look, from Amgel down to Mike November 044 910 to then 950 up to Lempu, which is then the ILS pickup for runway 04 left. Really nice. So that's good, happy with that. Close that down. Now that's all keyed in as well. We're going to pop these into manage mode, and it goes from the dashed line to the solid green line. Let's put that back on arc mode for our departure. Okay, so happy with the flight plan. That's now all keyed in and working nicely. Off to Nice. Working nicely. RadNav page. What do we need in the RadNav page? Let's have a look at this departure. Do we need anything in the RadNav page for the departure? Actually, I believe we do. We need the Bravo November non-directional beacon, as we need to fly over this point and be above 1,900 feet. So we need to turn not before 1,900 feet, and we have to fly over the Bravo November non-directional beacon. We could also put the Bravo Lima Mike VOR in there just for situational awareness, really. So let's go ahead and pop those into the RadNav page. So we want Bravo November in here. Is that going to populate? Yeah, I thought there was going to be just dozens of them, and of course there are. That's the one we want, 353, which is 5 miles away. That makes sense. We don't want one 643 miles away, do we? Let's pop that in. And then, again, for situational awareness, we're just going to put the Bravo Lima Mike VOR in on the other side. So Bravo Lima Mike in VOR 2. Now they're keyed in, we can actually get those turned on as well. So we pop the ADF on. You can see the little direction there, and VOR 2. There it is. Okay, good stuff. Orchard Guinea Pigs, how do you get more airline liveries such as British Airways and EasyJet? Well, if I get all my liveries from flightsim.to, at the moment if you've got the latest experimental or the latest developer version of the fly-by-wire aircraft, then you need to make sure you've got liveries designed especially for the fly-by-wire, the A320NX aircraft, as liveries for the default A320 in Microsoft Flight Simulator no longer work. So they have to be made specifically for the A320NX. You can actually convert them over. There are instructions to convert them over on the fly-by-wire Discord, so do check that out. Okay, RadNav page is all filled out. Let's have a look at the Init B page then for our fuel. Passengers are still boarding, so that's fine. Simon, congratulations on 9,000 subscribers. Thank you very much, Simon. Good to see you as well. I know, 9,000 subscribers. Crazy, isn't it? So humbled for that. Plan block fuel is 4730. So 0 fuel weight and 0 fuel weight center of gravity. We've already confirmed this actually as 58.5. And 0 fuel weight center of gravity, let me just double check that again, is 26.9. 26.9. Trip wind today is a tailwind of 19. There it is. Okay, so let's see what the aircraft suggests for its planned block fuel. We've loaded 4.7 tons and the aircraft suggests we need 3.8. Excellent, that works out quite nicely. How are we doing with that defueling anyway? We're still defueling, so that's still taking place. That's alright. So we're going to have 4.7 tons of fuel on board by the time we get moving. Right, so this gives us help with our performance calculations. So our takeoff weight is 56.4. Takeoff weight is 56.0. Okay, so there's a little bit of difference there between the operational flight plan and the aircraft itself. Of course, it's the aircraft itself that you want to use for your performance calculations. Right, so here we are. Let's just get the latest weather here. Lima, Fox, Sierra, Bravo, Basel. Weather is, as we saw, temporarily gusting 30 knots. So our takeoff weight is going to be what I say was 56.4 tons. Let's pop this in here. 56400. There we go, there's our takeoff weight, and our departure runway is runway 33. Now, are we using the full length of the runway to depart? Let's have a look. So we are parked. Do you know what? Where are we parked? I think we're parked here. Let's have a quick look outside. Yeah, okay. So we're parked basically on this. We're parked just here, I believe. Sort of off the main apron. And yeah, we're just going to be using the full length of the runway for our departure. So we're just going to push back. We'll taxi down here, cross runway. What is it? Runway 26, and then over to runway 33, just there for our departure. Unless there's a shorter taxi option, taxiway Delta. Let's have a look. So can we use intersection Delta for our takeoff performance? All depends, doesn't it? Let's find out. So instead of using let's use taxiway Delta. Right, so takeoff runway available is 2,900 feet there. Let's have a look if that matches up. 2,900 feet at taxiway Delta. Takeoff runway 33, taxiway Delta intersection, 2,900 feet. That matches perfectly. Let's see if that's possible then. We've got low level cloud, it's cold, so anti-ice will be on. Packs will be off. Runway is dry. Let's calculate. Yes, we can. So flex takeoff of 64. And that's intersection Delta. So, all passengers have just been loaded. We've just heard the beeps from the cabin crew. Good stuff. So, I am aware, guys, of course, I am ignoring the chat a little bit whilst I'm concentrating on this this setup. So, my apologies for that, but we'll have time to chat during the cruise. Okay, so takeoff performance calculations are complete. Let's get those plumbed in then, shall we? So, over to the performance page. Transition altitude here is 7,000 feet. And it's noise abatement departure 2, so 1880, that's correct, already pre-checked before the flight. Could actually have been 18885, which is the airport elevation, but I'm not going to quibble over 5 feet difference. Flaps 1 for takeoff, and that flex temp we just calculated of 64. Okay, so I'm just going to calculate those V speeds now, and let's see what the aircraft gives us. 127, 123, 122. Nice. How's our refueling doing? I think we're still defueling, aren't we? Yeah. So that's fine. Still defueling. Takes time to defuel. Very realistic now, so that's quite neat. Right, that's all sorted. I think now we're just waiting for refueling to be done. Other than that, I think we are about there. So whilst we're waiting for refueling to be done, let's just take a look at our departure briefing and talk through what's going to happen once we push back. So we are going to push back from this location just here. So we'll push back and we'll be facing north. We'll then taxi via Delta. We'll hold short of Delta. We'll take off via runway 33. On departure, we shall maintain runway heading and not turn before flying over the Bravo November NDB, and then we make our left turn down en route. Maximum speed of 250 knots to Lommel. Of course, if we get above 10,000 feet by there, then of course we can obviously increase that, particularly as there's no air traffic control on board. Minimum safe altitude around here then is 4,300 feet on this departure, increasing as well, as you can see, to 6,400 feet. So I'm going to pop the higher in on my notes. Now, during this actual flight, if I just come back, yeah, I don't know why the routes disappeared from Navigraph, which is a little bit strange, but if I just zoom out, one of the things that I noticed when planning this is just have a look at these minimum off-route altitudes. we are over a lot of high terrain, the Alps of course, so if we had a depressurization, we had to get down to 10,000 feet almost anywhere during this flight, we would have to be really careful, and we need to know, we need good situational awareness throughout the flight, because we would need to obviously turn either to the west at this point, and obviously then just maybe following our routing perhaps a little more easterly to get down. We are over high altitude for most of this flight, so really need to be have that in the back of our minds, that if we did have a problem, that we would need to divert very quickly as well, so we can get down to 10,000 feet and get some breathable air back into the cabin. Oxygen masks of course are on standby, but they don't last forever. So that's our departure briefing. The weather here, aside from that gusty wind, is alright. It's a decent length runway as well. Our takeoff weight is going to be below the maximum landing weight, so if we did have a problem we could look to return here, and depending on the problem of course we could look to divert somewhere where the weather is a little less gusty, and there isn't as much terrain around. There's quite a bit of terrain just to the south of us as we depart, so something else to be aware of, but that's nothing too major to be honest. So no times to be aware of, nothing that that I've seen, and threats of course we've just discussed the high altitude of the entire flight. So there we go. Nick, good morning sir, welcome. And Doc's here as well. Doc, is it still snowing where you are? I was disappointed when I flung the curtains back this morning and saw no snow. Right, so let's check those wheel temperatures as well. How are we doing with those? Oh, 105 degrees, it's practically freezing. That's fine. So how's that defueling done? Is that all finished?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board our Easyjet
Completed.
service. Please place your large bags into the overhead locker, wheels first, and keep your small items under the seat in front of you. These include laptops, handbags, duty-free and loose items of clothing. Once you have safely stowed your cabin bag, please take your seat. To help us ensure a prompt departure, we would kindly ask that you keep the aisle clear, enabling all remaining customers to board. Your seatbelt can now be fastened ready for departure. This is a no smoking service. Thank you for observing this policy.
Thank you.
Just looking whilst we've been here, slight pressure change 1012 now. And that's not actually made any difference to our performance calculations, so that's okay. Do we have a tug driver today, or is it one of those phantom tugs? It's a phantom tug driver, never mind. Right, so I'm going to ding over onto Unicom, because I know there are other aircraft around. There we go. Simulation World, thank you very much, sir. Simulation World says congratulations on the 9,000 subscribers. It's amazing, isn't it? It really is. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. So our cockpit preparation is nearly complete. I'm just waiting for those that APU to fire up. There it goes. Let's get the APU bleed on. We can now get rid of external power. That's now gone. Doors are closed. Let's just check on the ground what's showing here. External power is not required. Baggage, catering can all disappear. Doors are closed but not yet armed. That's fine. So cockpit preparation checklist. Cockpit preparation is completed. Everything looks normal as it should. Signs on and auto. That one's on auto. And the ideas are aligned. We've already checked 3 nav green. Fuel quantity is loaded. We've checked. We can also check that's balanced, which it is. Flight management guidance system is all programmed in, and the altimeter we cross-checked and double-checked that 1012. So that's good to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. My name is Gavin, and I would like to welcome you on board this Easyjet aircraft. so we should be pushing back within the next few minutes or so. For now, the ground crew have now finished loading the last of the baggage into the aircraft, so if you can get yourself seated and secured, then we can make sure we can do that on time. The cabin crew will shortly be providing their safety demonstration video, so it would be appreciated if you could give them your full attention. A special welcome on board to our Easyjetsimpilot members, and if you wish to inquire about becoming a member, please contact a member of the cabin crew. All our Easyjetsimpilot members are of course entitled to free drinks throughout the flight. Thanks very much, and we'll give you an update once we are airborne.
Okay, so I'm just about to run the before start checklist below the line before we push back. One of the things I've noticed, and I'm not actually sure how to fix here, self-loading cargo, and the aircraft normally does a good job of this, is that the doors are closed but they're not armed. The emergency exits are, you can see the slides are showing, but the main doors are not armed. They're just closed. So let's see if we can just open those doors again, and let's see if we can get those closed and armed. So they're closed and not armed. That must be a sim bug. Not one I've had before, to be honest with you. Right, so we're about ready to call the tug anyway. Phantom tug today. We'll make our announcement on Unicom as well in a moment. Everything's set. Let's make the announcement of where we are, where we're going. So we're pushing back from stand Foxtrot 4. Basel traffic, top Swift 693 Victor, pushing back from stand Foxtrot 4, and we'll be facing north. Alright, so that's all done. Let's give the tug driver the nod, and then we'll get those engines started as we push back. We'll also just lock the flight deck door now as well. Christian, the tug's there. I think it's because... Oh, hang on, there we go. They are now armed. The tug was there before I even started looking at the lower ECAM. Of course, it is a phantom tug. There's no real phantom tug there. I wonder if they become armed when I lock the door. That's interesting. Anyway, never mind. The main thing is they're now armed. Parking brake released. In fact, no, it's not. Parking brake already was released. Parking brake is now released because we had the the virtual chocks in place due to the overheated brakes. Okay, so now we're pushing back. Engine mode select to ignition and starting engine 1. I don't think the tug driver is going to be able to rescue this push, is he? It's going to be a very short push. Just don't put us on the grass and we'll be fine.
Attention while we take you through the safety procedures on this aircraft. A safety card is in your seat pocket showing the exit routes, oxygen masks, life jackets and brace position that you must adopt if you hear brace, brace. There are 2 emergency exits at the rear, 4 in the middle, and 2 at the front of the cabin. Floor lighting will guide you to an exit. Please be aware that your nearest exit may be behind you. In an emergency, leave all cabin baggage on board. Your seatbelt is fastened, adjusted, and released as shown. It must be fastened when the seatbelt signs are on, and we recommend that you keep it fastened at all times. If the air supply fails, masks will drop from above you. Pull a mask towards you to start the oxygen. Put the mask over your nose and mouth. Hold in place with the strap. Pull on each side to adjust. Put on your own mask before helping others. If we land on water, take the life jacket from under your seat. Put it over your head. Pass the tapes around your waist. Click together and pull the strap to adjust. Do Do not inflate it inside the aircraft. When outside, inflate by pulling the toggle. If it fails to inflate or needs topping up, blow into the tube. There is a light and whistle for attracting attention. We also carry flotation aids for children. Your tray table must now be stowed, armrest down, window blinds open, and seatbelt fastened. We wish you a pleasant flight with EasyJet.
Alright, so we're just waiting for engine 2 to stabilise, then we can get our taxi clearance. There we go, engine 2 is stabilised, so let's get the APU off. Wing coming on, and the ice is all sorted. Pushback tug, virtual tug this morning can now disappear. Off he goes. So let's check the rudder trim, spoilers, and flaps 1. And the after start checklist. So anti-ice is on, ECAM status is normal and checked. We've just checked the brake temperatures as well. I don't know if you saw that through the engine start. ECAM systems are normal, and rudder trim is checked 0, and our centre of gravity is 21.8. Let's have a look at that trim. There we go, 21.8. So with the pushback now clear, we'll make our announcement on Unicom and just let everybody around us know where we're going. Basel traffic, Top Swiss 693 Victor is taxiing to holding point Delta for runway 33 via taxiway Delta. Let's get those taxi lights on then. And we'll do a flight control check whilst we are here. Full left, full right, neutral, full up, full down, neutral, rudder, full right, full left, neutral. And we can release the parking brakes, and we'll gently start to roll.
Traffic CV 5665, passing runway C3, holding point.
And Hawk X on Twitch, thank you very much, sir, for the follow. Look forward to having you on board. Bossman on Twitch as well. Hello, good to see you. Okay, we've actually got quite a few checks. It's only a very short taxi, so we've actually got quite a few checks to do just before we enter the runway area. We need to get the ground radars on, auto brakes, etc, etc. So our performance hasn't changed. Engine out procedure, if we have a problem we will be returning here. Departure does match what we've got in the FC in the FMGC, and stop altitude 7,000 feet matches on the FCU. So
Pushback start at parking spot from slot 1 and will face direction south.
So before takeoff checklist to the line, flight controls checked, confirmed our departure briefing, flap setting config 1, FMA and takeoff data then is 122 blue, 127 magenta, climb nav blue, 7,000 feet blue, 1 FD2, and its flex temp takeoff of 64. Transponder is set, ECAM memo checked, takeoff no blue, and electronic flight bag is stored. Let's get that cabin crew sat down, seats for takeoff. And let's check those wheel temperatures again. they're fine, they're below 150 degrees C. Brake fans are off. I've not heard any aircraft announce that they're arriving here in Basel, so that's fine. That says taxiway Echo. That concerns me. Have we come to the wrong taxi stand? We have. That means our takeoff is invalid. We've actually taxied to the wrong taxiway. Right, okay. So, we're actually going to backtrack. We need to take off from Delta, otherwise those performance calculations won't work. Basel traffic, Top Swiss 693 Victor is entering runway 33, and we need to taxi down from taxiway Echo to Delta. We'll backtrack and then take off from intersection Delta on runway 33. So that's my map reading skills. I was doing a HD and reading things upside down, so that's no good. So that's all done. As we're entering the runway area though, I'm going to turn on the strobes. We're going to get those lights on. We'll leave the packs on for the moment whilst we make that taxi. So I'm going to turn left now to come down to taxiway Delta. It's a very long display threshold just here, which, if you're not aware of it, could catch you out on landing. So we're going to be ready for takeoff almost immediately once we get this turn completed. Then we'll get the TCAS and things like that on as well. Just slow down to make this turn. Do you know what? Actually, I think we were at taxiway Delta. The signs were wrong, because this is the other runway, runway 26. We were in the right place. The sign was wrong. If anything else, it actually just gives us a little bit more room to take off now. That's a little bit frustrating though. Okay, let's get TCAS on, TARA and tilt above. Transponder on as well. We're good to go. I'm going to try and set flex temp for the takeoff. However, I've just realised the throttles may not be calibrated correctly. So, here goes. Cabin is secured for takeoff. Engine mode select is normal. TCAS, TARA, tilt above. Packs are off. Anti-ice is on. Basel traffic, Top Swift 693 Victor, takeoff runway 33, departure to the south. Okay, so takeoff, start the chrono, 50% N1, and set takeoff thrust. And I can already feel that wind. Manflex, SRS. I'm really having to fight this wind. Don't know if you can see that. Whoa! That wasn't the smoothest takeoff in the world.
Traffic is 565, line up on runway 33.
Let's hope the landing's better than the takeoff. Right, let's set climb thrust. Okay, thrust climb. Packs coming back on. And regardless of the flight directors, we do need to overfly the Bravo November non-directional beacon. Flap 0, spoilers disarmed. Okay, now we've overflying it, we can make that left-hand turn. Still got a good positive speed trend. And we can now increase our climb rate. The aircraft is now going to target speed as we have reached our pre-selected level of 7,000 feet with no air traffic control line, so we're going to continue our climb now to flight level 200. We'll set standard pressure. Let's get that nose back up.
Traffic Easyjetsimpilot, picking up runway 23.
So thrust climb, climb.
Traffic, this is KLM 1106 will be taxiing.
Ladies and gentlemen, please keep your seatbelt fastened while the seatbelt sign is on. We recommend that you keep your seatbelt fastened whenever you are seated. Toilets are located at each end of the cabin. Remember that smoking is not permitted at any time. This includes e-cigarettes.
So just concentrating on those flight directors, they're now really, really good. Far better than the default ones. So autopilot 1 can now come on. Autopilot 1, we're past 10,000 feet. We can look to go to our selected cruise altitude for today, which is flight level 290. 390 is the optimum. It's only a short flight, so 290. Leave that anti-ice on as we come through this cloud layer. Release the cabin crew. They can start preparing your breakfasts and martinis for the journey. And as Christian says, yeah, 4,000 feet per minute, that's fine. We're not very heavy today. I think our takeoff weight was only something like 55 tons. Oh, look at that fuel flow now, though. How much more realistic is that? I would be interested to know what, there's a few guys flying with us today, interested to know what their takeoff was like, if they got that, if they got those wind gusts. Flight fan, which pushback mod do I use? I use the pushback helper. Fine, that's good. Okay, passing flight level 200. Seatbelt signs can now come off. take off like that, you kind of want to be hoping you're on a longer flight with much more fuel. Heavier aircraft obviously not affected quite as much in the wind as we were today. Not entirely sure how realistic that was, to be honest with you. And Azoki says the default fly-by-wire pushback stuff on the electronic flight bag does work fine as well. It does, absolutely. The only reason I continue to use pushback helper is it just controls the doors a little bit better, I think, at the moment. And also you can control the speed of the pushback, which I think is really nice. It just helps a little bit with the realism, particularly if you've got tight turns. Getting some turbulence over the Alps, that's to be expected, I think.
In just a few moments, we'll commence our in-flight service, offering you the chance to purchase from our selection of fresh food available today. Full details can be found in your in-flight brochure. We accept payment in pounds, euros, most major currencies, and debit or credit cards. The correct change would be greatly appreciated, and if we could be of any further assistance, then just ask us as we join you in the cabin shortly.
Andre, good morning, or good afternoon now as it is. If we do break through this cloud layer, it's going to be difficult to see those screens in a minute. For anyone asking which version of the aircraft I'm using, I use the experimental, so it has the custom autopilot built in. Captain B is Flylight Studios having a bit of a moment. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, so it is. Hang on then. Let's see if we can kick that into shape, shall we? That might take 30 seconds or so. So, about to reach our cruising altitude actually now. We'll just watch these FMA changes. There we go, speed Alt Star. There we go, Fly Life Studio should be behaving now. And now we're at Alt. And cruise flight level 290 in a moment. That should go to Alt Capture, Alt Cruise in a moment. That's interesting. I'm sure that message that I just saw pop up said that an aircraft was landing on runway 15 at Basel, where we've just departed from. So we're going to be in the clouds for our entire journey. That's a pain, isn't it? No great scenery. I'm sure we'll see some nice scenery though when we get to Nice. Some Nice weather at Nice. Let's have a look. What are we expecting? So fuel clouds 3,300 feet. QNH 1014. No significant changes. Visibility good. The flight plan today is a little bit strange. Let's see. So our flight plan actually takes us, in fact, you know what, probably be better doing this on the operational flight plan page. As you can see here then, the flight plan takes us, let me zoom in, all the way around, avoiding going directly over the Alps, basically giving us time to climb, I think, but it also strangely avoids Swiss airspace. And we just veer in and out of Italy and then into Nice. Someone's got a hot mic apparently. That could be anywhere because I can't hear that. So now at the cruise altitude as well, let's do a couple of cruising checks. Do we need anti-ice on? No, we shouldn't do. Minus 43. So let's get the anti-ice off. And let's see how we're doing. Cycle through the SD pages. So that's fuel used actually showing as well now. That's good. That's really good. That was broken for a little time, wasn't it? So fuel used is now working. Bleed area is obviously working and on. Landing elevation, auto, electrical page. Fuel page wouldn't come up then, had to do that manually. Fuel page is showing correct with the amount of fuel used as well. APU is obviously off. 24 degrees in the cabin, doors all still armed and working nicely. Wheel temperature is 150 degrees still, so I have to be aware of that on landing. And all the computers are working as well, so that's nice. Where are we? We are about a minute or so away from Turam. I've been travelling for 15 minutes. Let's check our progress there then. So 15 minutes into the flight. Spot on. Turam, 15 minutes. Fuel check. Minimum fuel remaining should be 3.2 tonnes. Or 3.3. And we've got 3.7. So we've got half a tonne more, which is absolutely fine. And nice and realistic as well. Captain B, no, this is an ILS approach. And HD said the ILS is not good at Nice. Well, the problem with that is they use the RNAVs just because it avoids crowded areas. So it's more for noise abatement than anything else. Unfortunately, this aircraft here in the sim at the moment doesn't do RNAV, so we're stuck with the ILS. And Lucas says Nice is beautiful, but you do believe it's an RNAV. Yeah, so you do have the option. There's a couple of things we can do. You obviously got RNAVs for both 4 left and 4 right. Let me just bring this up. And this is the initial approach for runway 04 left. We're coming in from Amgal this afternoon into Lempu. The initial approach fix there. I would capture the ILS for runway 04 left. Interestingly enough, if you do decide to go 04 right, then 04 right has an offset localizer, which lots of people who got the simulator when the simulator first came out didn't realise and thought the ILS was broke. But it wasn't. It was actually working perfectly well. So the RNAV approach is one. In fact, let's just bring up the RNAV and have a look at that. Let's just get the charts. So those approach charts for 04 left. So you've got RNAV approaches. They're the minimums. They're the final approaches. They're the initial approaches. So these are 04 left still, which I believe they use for landing anyway. 04 right's used for departure, probably because it has the offset localizer actually. But yeah, it's an RNAV, almost like an RNAV arrival, but then we can use the ILS to approach it. And as we're going to come in and down and come in over the sea anyway, noise abatement shouldn't be too much of an issue. Edward asks, will the A320NX still be fully free when released in the store? Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Oh, I wish we got some nice and better scenery. I can just see the ground. Just. Passengers not getting value for money with regards to view. Lucas, you can't get the RNAV to work for the life of you. You've tried on 3 airports in the developer version. No, there's a reason for that, Lucas. RNAV doesn't work on the developer or the experimental version. Flabau, I did announce that. RNAV does not work. I believe it does work in the stable version though. The only thing you could do is you could fly it as a track FPA approach. That should be fine, because that's you basically telling the aircraft how to fly the RNAV rather than using final approach mode. We can just see some scenery below us, but that cloud layer still. Is that like a golf course and bunker right at the top of that hill? It's some turbulence. Can you hear the passengers screaming? They're all wimps in self-loading cargo. So which airport is that down there? Let's have a little look, shall we? It's not actually showing on the map, on the VFR map. I'm sure if we get into the get in here, we can have a look. Is that Geneva? Geneva down there. Oh yeah, and there's Lake Geneva, just above it. Simon Smith, thank you very, very much for your €2 donation there to the channel. Very, very kind of you. I know you've been a long-time supporter of the streams as well, so that's really nice. Very, very kind. I've just realised our landing lights are still on after passing 10,000 feet. Let's get rid of those, shall we? Sub 6 Bravo, I don't even have X-Plane installed. Haven't got it installed, so I'm afraid I can't show you that. I do have a tutorial on RNAV when it did work, and it worked really, really well. So there is an RNAV procedure tutorial here in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. So you may want to go and check that out. Drummer Boy asks, what's the difference between RNAV in relation to the ILS? Okay, so an ILS, as I'm sure you're familiar with, is an actual physical radar beam that sort of beams out from the threshold of the runway most of the time, which the plane locks onto and follows that radar beam all the way down to the runway. So lateral, left and right, up and down, vertical, the glide slope. It literally just tracks that radar beam all the way down. RNAV is basically area navigation, which uses GPS coordinates and waypoints to fly between, and the aircraft's computer has a database of what altitude the aircraft should be at those particular waypoints or coordinates as it brings you down. It cannot automatically land you. Well, not yet. It's getting much more accurate. So there are some versions of it which can, but not all airlines have those aircraft that are capable of that. So RNAV is not an auto land technology yet. You have to turn the autopilot off at the decision altitude and fly those in manually. Here we go, snow-covered Alps. Nick, yeah, go ahead, try and post it. It won't show, but I should then just be able to allow that through. So yeah, go for that. Clouds appear to be thinning out anyway, don't they? The turbulence isn't, though. Self-loading cargo passengers are screaming away.
In just a few moments, we'll commence our in-flight service, offering you the chance to purchase a selection of hot beverages, together with drinks and snacks from the bar. We accept payment in pounds, euros, most major currencies, and debit or credit cards. The correct change would be greatly appreciated. And if we could be of any further assistance, then just ask us as we join you in the cabin shortly.
Yeah, so self-loading cargo passengers, they don't like any sort of turbulence. Cloud Chaser, good morning. Well, that's interesting. On the left side of the aircraft you will see snow. On the right side of the aircraft you will see spring. SB, any idea when we will be able to correct issues with the standard instrument departures? It's very frustrating to try to manually enter the standard instrument departure but have the item we insert go into the wrong slot even when we use the next waypoint. I'm not quite sure how you're trying to insert those. They're actually quite good. I don't think I've ever had any sort of issues with the standard instrument departure unless it's not quite being inserted correctly. And even if you don't insert it correctly, you just reinsert it, go back, start again. Christian, they don't like hot beverages. They do like they do like alcohol. So there's a nice external view over the Alps in our Easter livery. We'll continue with the Easter livery throughout this week for any flights that we do. So whilst we're nicely in this cruise, let's have a look at our arrival. So we need to check. We've got Gapdu and Amgel. We want to be above flight level 140 at Amgel. Flight level 220, 170 at Gapdu. Oh, SB, you meant stars. Oh, well, unfortunately, yeah, fair enough. Some stars are a little bit strange. But I'm hoping with fly-by-wires now separate aircraft, these things are slowly starting to come to an end. A lot also depends on the navigation database you've got in. If you've got the Navigraph database, I think they're also better. Nick says they're screaming because Yap's drunk in all the vodka. Right, so not a long flight this one. We need to start looking at when to begin our top of descent, which most likely isn't that far away. Oh, keep forgetting we've got contrails. It's not often I look behind me. Anyway, where are we? Let's see. So there's Gapdu, and we want to be at flight level 220 by Gapdu. What are we at now? 290. So about 20 miles away from there we can start a descent. And then at Amgel we want to be flight level 140. And then from Amgel we're basically looking to start our descent to ensure that at Lempu we are at 4,000 feet. You've got to love the scenery, haven't you? So this as well, guys, is also a real-world flight. I think it was last night this flew. Might have even been this morning. So this is a real-world flight that they were emulating today. And I'm just checking now. I'm actually cheating a little bit. I'm using Flight Radar 24 to see what runways they are using down in Nice at the moment. And it looks like, oh good lord, right, looks like they're using runway 22 right, which is a bit more tricky to fly. I've never flown this approach. Oh boy, oh well, 9,000 subscribers flight has just become a little bit more interesting. So, due to the wind, looks like, are they landing on 22 right? I'm just watching an EasyJet flight come in and land. Let's have a look. So, aircraft from Rome came in not long ago and landed on runway 22 right. Oh, good fun. Right, in that case then, let's have a look. We're using runway 22 right for arrival. Our arrivals for runway 22 right is the Viva 7 Romeo arrival still. Can we use Viva 7 Romeo for 22 right? Let's have a look. Let's get rid of those. The problem with that is it is an RNAV approach. Weather's good, so we might end up going a little bit visual with that. So it's via Neres, it's coming. Sorry, it starts at Sotox. And there it is. It's the visual approach. Just here. Now, I haven't actually prepped for this because I didn't believe this was the runway that we were going to be using. That's for Cat D aircraft. Visual prescribed tracks for that one. We're not doing the VOR. That's the lost comms. Mike November 22 Delta, is that our initial approach fix at 1,260 feet? Okay, right, let's get this keyed in then, because we're going to have to start the descent pretty soon anyway. So, flight plan. Arrival, enter destination data, yeah, we'll do that in a minute. So, VOR 22 right, I think that's what it's going to have to tell us to put in. In fact, you know what, we can probably put the RNAV 22 right Delta in. That's the one we're going to go with, the RNAV, or RNP rather, 22 right Delta, 22 right Delta. Insert that, and that is via the, it's still the same arrival, isn't it? Same RNAV? The same, using the Veva 7 Romeo arrival still. Veva 7 Romeo. Via Neres, I believe it is now. Yep, initial approach fix is Neres. And insert. Right, now let's have a look what the navigation display has got for us. There we go. Comes in via Sotox. That's what we want. Alright, so now we need to start our descent and start praying, because I've never done this arrival before. Thrust idle, open descent. Right, we also need to enter the destination data. So, guys, stick around. This is not a nice approach for an aircraft where RNAV isn't working correctly. It's going to be a visual approach. Think not quite as bad as Madeira. We're just following the coastline. So AOC menu, weather request, send that off. That'll come in a moment. So let me just bring up the VFR map. This is what's now happening. Where are we? Okay, so we're on our descent into it. We basically follow this all the way around. Keep this track, and then here at Foxtrot November 22 Delta, if I bring the charts in, Foxtrot November 22 Delta, which is just here, Foxtrot November 22 Delta is just there. Then the final track brings us in to Mike November 22 Delta, which is around here. If you can see, this actually finishes because we use a visual approach into this. So from Foxtrot Delta, Foxtrot November 22 Delta, this little land that comes out just there, at 1,000, about 1,200 feet. So I beam that, and then we follow the coastline in all the way around for runway 22 right. Missed approach is 3,000 feet. And the minimum safe altitude is 4,000 feet. At NX we want to be at 3,000 feet. So these are all things I'm scribbling down, so I've got them in front of me and I can see what it is that we're doing. So NANAX 3,000 feet. Max speed of 200 knots. So we're going to be configured very, very early. Wow, that's bumpy. I don't think those passengers are going to be giving me a rave review. Maybe a grave review. How fast are we descending? I didn't expect to be descending this quick. I think that may have been the turbulence that just affected that. This is where you need two pilots. One can be sorting out the approach, one can be monitoring the instruments. What are we going down to? 1,400 feet by Amgel. So we've just passed Gadpo and we're actually spot on. We wanted to be below flight level 220 at Gadpo. We've just passed Gadpo and we've just passed flight level 220, so that's fine. We're now heading for Amgel at 1400. So that's fine. I apologise guys, I am missing a bit in the chat just because I'm studying some charts for this approach. All good fun when things change at the last minute, isn't it? I think this was actually a challenge at one point. One of the flight simulator challenges. Right, so whilst I'm working away down there to program that, I just want to have the primary flight display showing as well. So let me enter the final weather information into the performance page. Messages received, meta, let's get that printed off. QNH is 1014. If the passengers think this flight's bumpy, wait till they see the landing. We may have to record this landing. It's a good way to celebrate 9,000 subscribers, isn't it? Right, let's get those seatbelt signs on, shall we?
Ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck, you may have noticed that we've just begun our final descent into our destination. If you could now assist the cabin crew by tidying up your tray table and handing them any litter as they come around, that would be most appreciated. For safety reasons, we ask now that you please turn off all electronic devices or switch them to airplane mode until after we have landed. Please note that the aircraft toilets are now out of use. If you wish to become a Easyjetsimpilot chat group member, please contact a member of your cab crew who will be happy to assist you. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed your flight.
Wind is 180 at 8. Transition altitude is 5,000 feet. And the minimum descent height is 1,260. So we're now at Amgel and we wanted to be above 1,000, above flight level 140, which we are, so that's fine. Differences between managed descent and open descent. Well, one, managed descent doesn't seem to work particularly well at the moment here in the sim. That's just a sim thing. And 2, open descent uses the speed to control the aircraft's rate of descent. So if you need to speed up, plane will go down. If you need to slow down, plane will pitch up. So you're using speed to control your rate of descent. Right, so we're now at speed Alt Star. And at near as we want to be at 4,000 feet or above 4,000 feet at near as, which is fine. We most certainly shall be. At NX we want to be at 3,000 feet. Now NX is just here. So we basically go out over the sea to slow down. That's because they don't like noise around here. Plus there's terrain around there, so it's the best way in and out, particularly for this runway. See, you guys think it was the passengers that were screaming. No, not true. That was me just taking the headset off, going into the corner of the room and screaming, because we have to do this visual approach into Nice, which I've never practiced. Oh, I'm sure HD will have fun watching this back in a few hours' time. Okay, so let's roll down the speed and then we'll set a flight level now of 10,000 feet. Again, going open descent. So thrust idle, open descent. Right guys, so just whilst we're on this final stage of flight, if you could do me a favour, hit that like button, that would be most appreciated. I'd rather you do it now before seeing the landing. Goodness me. Let's just put that down to a bit of clear air turbulence, shall we? What's the weather doing? I didn't see anything on the I didn't see anything on the weather charts showing anything like that would be happening today. And this procedure is actually unavailable at night as well. So the airport is just behind us now, over our right shoulder. And what's the landing elevation of this runway? Landing elevation is 10. Let's not get that wrong. Don't need to worry about an ILS frequency, as that's no longer in play. But at Mike November 22 Delta, that particular waypoint, just by that little bit of land that sticks out, I need to make sure we remember we need to be at about 1,200 feet, or 1,260 feet to be exact. I'm now glad I'm flying the custom version with the custom autopilot and things, just because it's a lot nicer to fly. So we're about to pass 10,000 feet. Landing lights on. 10, what was that, QNH 1014, which is now set. So let's run the approach checklist. Minimums are now set both sides. Barrow is 1260. Engine mode select is normal. Electronic flight bag is stowed, and we've completed the arrival briefing. So we've got plenty of track miles left to run. So let's just make a call now on Unicom to let them know what we're doing. Right, so Nice traffic, top Swiss 693 Victor is on the RNP Delta. Arrival from runway 04 right, currently direct ATOC, 12 miles out. So let's now begin that descent down to 4,000 feet. Open descent, and again we're just going to roll that speed down a little bit. There we go, passing 10,000 feet. So we're going to get the radar on as well, the terrain radar. Something tells me we're going to need that. I'm also going to pop auto brake on low, just in case I botch the landing up and we end up having a long landing. Okay, TM sir, thank you very, very much for your kind donation and continued support to the stream. Really, really generous and kind of you. And Oki says this approach will be fun. Keep up the nice work. To quote a famous phrase, fun is hardly the word I would use. Technically, I think the phrase was exciting is hardly the word I would use, but you get the idea. Jedis, did I say 04? Oh, that's a shame. Let me just correct that. Top Swiss 693 Victor, Nice traffic, correction, runway 22 right in use. Brian, thank you. Yeah, we've just check that. Okay, so let's enter the approach phase of the flight as we start slowing down. Manage speed. Where is the aircraft going? I actually put the seatbelt sign on. I put the seatbelt sign on quite early in the flight. I just forgot to turn it on self-loading cargo, so that's why it said that. There we go. We're now at the green dot. And we could actually go direct NX, just cut out this this bit here. So let's do that. So we can now go direct to NX. There we go, yellow line, confirm that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will shortly be landing. Please ensure your cabin bag.
And that's the initial fix. We want to be at 3,000 feet by NX.
Your tray table must be stowed, armrest down, and window blind open. You now need to be seated with your seatbelt fastened, ready for landing. Please help us by handing in any rubbish, newspapers or magazines that you do not want to take with you. The toilets are no longer in service.
That's a shame. I could really use that about now. So there we can obviously see the land that we're going to attempt to avoid, and until we see a runway in front of us. Nice traffic, top speed 693 Victor is 21 miles inbound to NX for the approach to runway 22 right. Speed Alt Star. And Alt. So at 4,000 feet we want to be at 3,000 feet at NX with a maximum speed of 200 knots. We're already below that, so that's fine. I don't mind getting configured and being nice and steady, nice and early for this approach, as it's one I've never done before. I'm completely unfamiliar with it. So we want to be good and ready. Basically, once we get to this waypoint here, Foxtrot November 22 Delta, from there, let me just bring this chart in, and then you can see that. There it is, Foxtrot November. Oh no, that's Mike November, isn't it? So Foxtrot November 22 Delta is just here, Fox November 22 Delta. It then actually has a waypoint missing in the database. It should take us out over to this point here, not go direct to Mike Fox November, which is the airport. So after passing this point here, Fox November 22 Delta, we are going to fly a heading of 303 degrees, 303 degrees. So guys, just smash that like button while you still can. It is a little bit exciting. As I say, I've never done this approach before, and you're all going to witness my first attempt at it as well, which is quite nice. We've done Funchal and we've done Innsbruck, but this is just something a little bit different. We've done Dubrovnik as well. But yeah, whenever I've flown into Nice, weather's always favoured runway 4 instead of runway 22. What is the barrow? The barrow 1260, so that's our minimum descent altitude. If we can't see the airport and land, etc. by that, then we call off the approach and go somewhere nicer. But it should be fine. It should be fine. Weather's looking pretty decent. So now 10 miles from NX. Let's start getting down and getting configured. So 3,000 feet. Lucas Midden, thank you very, very much, Sophia. Love the kind donation there, the $5 Canadian. Lucas says, can we fly to or in Canada again soon? You'll come along. Lucas, that sounds like a great idea for another long haul flight. We've not been to Canada for a while. So watch this space, Lucas. Thank you very, very much, sir, for your very kind donation to the stream. I hope I can now get you on the ground safely. And Alt Stars, we're at 3,000 feet, in good time for NX. We're about 7.5 miles away. And as I say, as I'm brand new to the approach, I'm going to start configuring good and early. So flaps 1. Flaps 1.
Speedbird 2623 radio check, please, anyone?
The Speedbird just calling radio is readability 2.
Okay, sir, thank you. I can hear you anyway. Thank you for that.
It did just sound a little bit far away, a little bit crackly. And I have no idea what that was, but that sounded like some alien from Star Trek. So the descent angle is 3 degrees as well. So it's a normal 3-degree descent rate. Oh, Brian, that's a good point. Why has flaps and slats gone out? We even used the mouse to select flats 1 just then. That's unfortunate. So once we get to Fox November 22 Delta, which is just here, Fox November 22 Delta, then we're going to start our descent of 3 degrees. Oh, why is it going to Morak? No, 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 no. Let's go back into heading mode, shall we? Where on earth is that taking me? That's no good. Let's see if we can get back on on track, shall we? So let's just come back a little bit, just have a look at that wind. So we'll probably go track FPA actually. Just get us back on online. I'm just losing some frame rates here a little bit. That might just be while the scenery is loading in. So we need to pass this Fox November 220. Let's go track FPA for that. And we want a track heading of 303 as we pass over just there. And we've got a visual with the airport anyway, we can see that. And essentially all we're going to do is we're going to come around this coastline just here. Sounds so simple, doesn't it? Okay, so let's start now. 3 degrees. And 303 track heading. And let's start to configure. So flaps 2, speed check flaps 2, Mr. Approach altitude is now set at 3,000 feet. So hopefully now, guys, you can see the sort of approach that we're looking to make around that coastline. Should we record this? Whether we play it back or not is going to be a different matter. We shall see. If nothing else, it might end up on the bloopers reel. So this 3 degrees flight path angle is looking quite good actually. I want it to be at 1,260 feet by a waypoint, which is just here. It's missing from the database, and that seems to be getting me down quite accurately, so that's good and neat. So again, let's start getting configured early, as it's going to be a full manual landing and approach during the turn. So we're going to get the gear down, we're going to put the spoilers armed, lights, etc, etc.
100 above.
That seems to be absolutely spot on. We're going to continue with this track.
Minimum.
FPA, there we go. We've passed minimums. We're going to continue. We can see the airport. So, flaps 3s. And as I say, we're just going to follow this coastline all the way down. And flaps full. And there's two runways, left and right. We want the right hand one. Okay, so autopilot is going to be coming off in a second. I'm just going to get my view lined up for the landing. So there we go. So autopilot 1 coming off. I have control.
500. 400.
300. This is definitely
300.
making me wish I'd practiced this prior to doing this approach. We are too low, but we can just hold that altitude till we get back on track. So let's get that centre line. As I say, we are too low, but we've controlled that descent, that's the main thing.
$100. 50. 40. 30. 20.
And hold that flare.
5.
Oh, relief. We're down. And release those auto brakes. One of the other things that I should have done, HD is going to nail me for this. One of the things I should have done is I should have taken the flight directors off when taking the autopilot off as well.
The cabin crew will shortly be leaving their seats to perform safety-related duties. However, we ask that you remain seated until the fasten seatbelt sign has been switched off. Portable electronic devices for messaging, calls or internet access may now be used. Please make sure that you take all your personal belongings with you, checking in the seat pocket, underneath the seat, and in the overhead lockers. Do take care when opening the lockers in case anything falls out.
East traffic 3623, taxi into runway 22 right,
On behalf of the
kilo on
captain
uniform.
and crew, it has been our pleasure looking after you today.
Nice traffic, top Swiss 693, Victor runway 22 right vacated.
For the latest news, promotions, flight and destination information, check out our official Facebook page, Twitter or Easyjet app.
Okay, who wants to see the replay? I do. I can sit and relax and watch that. That sounds like someone's underwater. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to disconnect from VATSIM. Where's that gone? just disconnect from VATSIM and we'll roll the replay. So there we go. We're off the VATSIM. So those asking where I get the landing rate from, that's from the overlay. I don't actually get to see it. You get to see what the landing rate was. I don't. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to load the... Let's just stop the recording and we'll load that back, shall we? So let me load that. So that now loads, and hopefully we get a nice nice replay of this this arrival. Oh yeah, self-loading cargo. I think we can close them down. They're not going to be happy, are they? I don't think they were happy before we began the approach. So there we go. We get to enjoy the arrival. I actually started the recording a little bit far out, so what I can do is I can just skip to the fun bit.
1,000.
There we go. So this is the view from those sat on the right hand side. I'd be fair if this was if I was actually ever on a flight coming into Nice on this landing, I'd want to be sat on the right hand side of the aircraft. Yeah, there would have been a landing rate from self-loading cargo actually. I forgot to check that. As a passenger, it all looks really nicely controlled as well. Of course, that's the old image of the swan gliding across the top of the still pond while furiously kicking away underneath. So if you did enjoy that flight, guys, please do me a favour, do hit the like button for the stream. And there it is. Welcome to Nice. I would like to go back and retry that landing, just because we did get to a little bit too low. I perhaps left that 3 degrees descent on a little too soon. We should have taken the autopilot off a little sooner, just to control that rate of descent a little bit more. And it's approaches like that where VR would have really come into its own, because you can just quickly be looking out the left window, back to the centre, out to the left, back to the centre, and you can judge that a lot more when you've got virtual reality, or of course if you're in the real aircraft. So so that's nice. Dr. Robot says I need to consider using Sim Toolkit Pro or Volanta. I don't see why. It's just another program to hog resources that doesn't really benefit the flying. All it does is tell other people where I am. So there we are. We're down, and last moment change of plan. Good fun. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave that there for today. I hope you've all had a great Easter weekend. I hope you, if you're like me, it's Bank Holiday Monday here in the UK. Hope you've got some nice relaxing time planned. Of course, I shall be back tomorrow, back in the office, back for a normal, another live stream during the day. Big thank you to everyone who's subscribed to the channel. 9,000 subscribers now, which I'm just truly thankful for, to each and every one of you. It truly is amazing. A big thank you, of course, to those that have donated and supported the channel through super chats, super stickers, etc. And of course, as ever, our channel members. A big thank you to all the channel members. For if you do want to consider becoming a channel member, just hit the red join button to bring up the options and see what's available. But really did enjoy that. Bit nerve-wracking doing that for the first time in front of you all, but we got down, we got here safely, and we lived to tell the tale. Thanks very much, guys. I'm going to leave you with one big final replay to see that out. I look forward to seeing you all again very soon. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.
One thousand. 500. 400. 300. 200. 100.